I can barely think of any stories and comics that sort of went as far as you guys did, creating a kind of art house Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and is that something that you? What's your? I just wanted to ask, like, what's your relationship to that comic right now and all this time later? I mean, I guess it kind of was one of the things that put you on the map at the time, right? Is that fair to say?
Oh, it really did. It was the first thing that made me actual money. I mean, Karen Berger phoned me up, and it was a shared phone in the flat that I was staying in with a bunch of people. And the phone was in the hallway, and suddenly Karen Berger's on and said, "You're rich." And so we've got $1 a copy, and it sold 120,000 copies in the first day. And suddenly, oh, this was great. I was able to buy a house and do stuff and go around the world several times, because I took David Bowie's advice, and he said, if you ever get money, go around the world. If you ever get money. So I did that, and it was, yeah, it changed my life completely. But I've had a weird up and down relationship with it because the backlash was so heavy on that book, and I felt as if I'd been burned. Really, I felt quite bad about it for a while. But my current position is I love it. I've gone back to why it was made and why it was different, and embraced all of those things. And I think it's great. It's the Euro art house take on Batman, and I think it's why it was so popular outside the fan base, because the fans kind of really resented it and rebelled against it. I mean, not everyone, obviously, but there was a kind of swell of, this isn't the Dark Knight, this isn't Killing Joke, what the hell is this? Batman's a pussy, Batman barely gets into a fight. A woman beats him and it wasn't that at all. So looking back on it now, I realise we totally hit the mark, and it's why it's been so successful. I think it's certainly been more successful outside the comic. It's the one that directors have always read, or art people and architects have got on their shelf. So it seemed to reach out to very much the audience that I guess we were trying to bring to the comics, and to say, look, we can also do a Batman that's like those sources you say, like Meyer, like Brothers K, or the David Lynch thought, a lot of the European directors, the surrealist directors I was watching at the time, and Kenneth Anger and stuff like this. There was a lot of things that were feeding into it, and Cocteau was another big influence. So looking back now and seeing, oh, we actually made this, and we made this in 1989, and I think it's still kind of ahead of its time, and it's still unlike anything else. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it started as a 48-page script, and I'd done all these little thumbnails that are in the back of some editions, and just in my usual style, basic comic drawings, and I'd imagine somebody like Gary Leach doing it. So I did imagine a kind of Killing Joke that they would carry on and do one of those, with a comic book with a spine kind of thing, and that it would be very much in that format. And then Dave came on board, and he wanted to make it longer. So I wrote the script to 64 pages, which he then did as 120 pages. And yeah, but the collaboration, I don't think it would be so, it'd probably still be okay in some way, but it just wouldn't be what it was. It wouldn't be what it is now. It had to be Dave McKean, there was just no getting by it. And there's no one else in the world that could even have approached that, aside from maybe a Bill Sienkiewicz or a Baron Story at the time. So no, it had to be Dave, and I think, even the fact that he has that on his resume, and he's done so much more, and he's obviously done things that he was a lot more interested in. It's a really good one to have a Batman that's like unlike any other Batman, because Batman is the great cultural figure of the early 21st century, in pop culture certainly. So I think to have that, and for both of us, it's yeah, I like Arkham Asylum.